Here's the scenario, Throp.
Yes, sorry.
I have $700 in cash.
Oh, that's a lot of an iPhone. That's like 70% of an iPhone.
What do you
almost.
buy? Do you buy an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you buy a PlayStation Pro? This is a theoretical. I don't have $700 in cash in my hands. I'm acting like I am, but I don't.
I mean, I feel like I'm just in a different place personally when it comes to video games, so I wouldn't get that. I buy that little idea pad I was, talking about last week or whenever that was, $700. Be good for games, You have a lot more choices. By the way, I should have written this up, but if you go to like Amazon Prime Gaming right now,
Yeah.
they're giving away like a ton of games that you just keep forever. So you have to be a Prime member, right? There's games. Some of them are on Steam. Some of them are on GOG, like GOG, Good Old Gamer, whatever it used to be called. And then some are through Amazon Prime, but or Amazon or whatever, Amazon Gaming, whatever it's called. But there's some. Trying to remember what was in there. It's like one of the Middle Earth games. I think there's some Borderlands games in there. Like recent, like good games. Like there's a lot of games. Like a lot of them are little goofy games I've never heard of, but there are at least half a dozen kind of AAA type titles in there. So I guess my point is, regardless of this exact deal, like Epic Games routinely gives away free games. They recently gave away that game. I think it's called the Callisto Protocol, like free, So that is one advantage of the PC. I mean, there's some complexity there, but with integrated graphics in laptops starting to get to the point where they can actually play games pretty well, it's an interesting option. You don't see a lot of free games on Xbox, or PlayStation, right? And they just came out with that new subscription, right? The Game Pass Standard.
Yep.
It's like $15 a month. It's a decent collection of games, but it's money. So I wouldn't get the PlayStation. Not anything against it. Honestly, it looks great. Not the box. I mean, the the graphics quality. The box looks ridiculous. It always has.
$700 though. Like
it is $700. Yeah.
I love too. The perfect thing that they did here was they put that graphic up. It's $700. Vertical stand sold separately. Like it's like really, like come on.
The Apple-ification of everything. I know the vertical stand. Well, the way yeah. Most people probably don't need it, right? Who's going to stand the thing vertically? It's like 3 feet tall. It's probably bigger than your kid.
It's the my size Barbie. Right? Remember those things?
Yeah. Oh God, nothing creepy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive. I don't know. How much is the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X?
$100 less with a disc drive.
There you go. With a disc drive, yeah. Okay.
And it stands vertically.
It does. It's a little squatter. Yeah. I don't like the way the PlayStation 5s look. It looks like an alien ship design from a sci-fi movie or something.
It reminds me of a skyscraper you would see like in the Middle East.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
Like it's like something right out of Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the designers were like, we're going for like an organic, natural shape.
As compared to like this thing that I got to fix. We haven't talked about this.
No.
Obelisk.
Yeah, but you know what? But that thing is the obelisk. It's, I think it's the right shape for what it is, like who you're going to put that thing under a TV. I mean, typically it first of all, it's white, which, whatever. Some, the Xbox Series S can be white, is white. It's just a weird shape. It's weird colors. It's big.
Are you describing yourself or the PlayStation?
Both. I don't know. Is this thing on my skin normal? Anyway,
like a vitamin D. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, it comes. I think you can pre-order like September 26th or something like that. So you can get a job between now and then, drive some Uber routes.
Right.
And then it ships a couple months after that. Whatever.
I don't think it's going to move the needle too much, but
Here's what it
I
will do, though. This is exactly what it'll do.
yep.
It'll increase hardware revenue for Sony,
Mhm.
which every quarter will be like, well, the PlayStation sold X amount of more revenue than the Xbox.
I mean, that was going to happen
I mean,
anyway,
it's
but
going to happen anyways, but now the gulf will grow a little bit bigger. But
yep.
yeah,
Yep. 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 Yep.
I don't know. Now would be a killer time for Xbox to be like, hey, you know what? Actually, we're going to just cut $50 off everything.
Yeah. That's all they can do because aside from the fact that they leaked potential designs of uh not next gen consoles necessarily, but but interim. Remember the X was going to be like a cylinder and
Mm-hmm.
kind of better looking. And then they just kind of put out new versions of the same thing. So they're clearly not ready with that midstream upgrade thing.
I just don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure the PlayStation Pro. Well, here's the other thing too. By the way, if a
Mhm.
company is launching whatever AAA game, quad A game, whatever the hell you want to call it, if they launch it tomorrow, they're still targeting the PS4.
Yeah. Well, this was the criticism of the Xbox when the Series S and X came out. They said, well, great. Now you have a low end version. Guess what every game's going to target, And I mean, I think we've actually seen, I think Microsoft has done it where they've released, I think Starfield, right? 30 frames a second.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact details, but it was lower quality in some way on X, and then eventually they upgraded it, right? Yeah, it's a tough. I don't know how Microsoft does or doesn't make it easy for developers to just do that seamlessly. I just don't know, but that is an issue, right? And now we have, well, I guess two tiers. So they both now have two tiers. So I guess great, whatever.
yeah. What is? I mean, what does it matter at this point? Like this generation is
I know it's
it's
so
just a
screwed.
melting pot of nothingness.
It's unfair in a way because honestly, these are both great console
They're both
families or whatever.
fine. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with them.
no, that's the thing. It's weird. Like they're fine. I can't completely blame the pandemic exactly, but they kind of launched at a tough time, for sure. They both suffered from some form of component shortage, although Sony seemed to have suffered quite a bit less. Um, but yeah, there is at least for Sony, is a really good chance. In fact, I don't see how they don't escape this, but that this will be the worst selling PlayStation console of all time. Right now for Xbox, that's probably a low bar. I think
Yeah.
the first gen one's probably going to always be there or whatever, but it's not going to do great. And it's weird how Xbox One looked like such a disaster, and they shipped this thing which was so much better on day one, so much better, and they just can't get it off the ground. I feel really weird about this because I really think the Xbox Series S and X are great. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're good. They're legitimately good devices. They're fine.
Yep.
Now, whatever. Like I think some of the marketing kind of screwed them up. As it typically does, where like everything's going to be 4K 60, and then like that didn't
Not
really happen.
everything asterisks.
Yeah, and now
you know.
that's the PS
Yeah.
Pro or whatever is things
Right.
like okay, finally 4K 60, but whatever. Like,
Yep. Well, at least they didn't try to do something stupid like 8K 30 or something, like just trying to to what point, who
did
can say, but
did you see the 8K stuff they did? I think they showed Gran Turismo playing at 8K for the 9 people who have an Apple TV.
mhm.
Or Apple TV. I was
Um,
gonna say Apple Vision Pro and an 8K because
right.
I imagine if you got an 8K TV, you probably got Apple Vision Pro. You're probably gonna buy a PS5 Pro.
There's something weird about racing games that they can look and run really well on fairly low end hardware.
Hmm.
I can't explain this, but you can pick up
I
a
think it's just because they're real linear, right? Like
I
there's
guess
no,
so.
it's very fixed.
I mean, I will never forget it. Of course, I just forgot. So actually, what I'm forgetting is if it was first or second gen PlayStation, but it must have been first gen because it's a long time ago. And a friend it was a motorcycle racing game, and it's just like every other racing game. You're
Hmm.
going down this, when you're going up and around, and there are buildings and whatever, depending on where you are. Sometimes it's trees and forests, whatever, mountains in the background, but you could see it drawing on the sides, like whatever was out beyond the road, you could see it coming in, like it would draw. And I'm assuming that whatever graphics chips that have occurred in the past 30 years have just solved this problem. Like it's just super easy because you can get like, I mean, on a stupid any Windows computer, the lowest end anything, go to the Microsoft store and download Asphalt, whatever, and look how well it always runs. It doesn't matter what you're using. So I feel like that's the, and same thing with the Forza titles, whatever. Like you could just that's the one that would be the one that would be AK. It's like pointless, but they could do it, I bet.
Remember the game? This game probably wouldn't fly in today's modern age. Remember the game Road Rash?
Yeah.
Where you were on a motorcycle and the whole objective was to like
Yeah,
slap people with chains on other motorcycles.
That's right. Yeah, you can actually the spray thing would be. Yep, that's true. Yeah, that's that type of game, like the thing I was describing earlier. But
anyways, Game Pass standard.
I know it's like Sony launches a new console, Microsoft launches the subscription nobody wants. Thanks for taking the thing we loved and ruining it, and it's just a tough one.
Yeah. Yep.
I looked through it. I spent so much time yesterday looking at these things. Like they have Game Pass Core standard, right? PC Game Pass Ultimate now, and they're expensive. Like Ultimate's like $20 a month. It's like, oh man, you gotta be pretty damn dedicated.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I mean the math is easy if you 2 games or whatever a year, and then you're fine. But it's still $20 a month.
Not at $20 a month, 2 games. Oh, no, I mean, well, 70. Yeah, I mean that's $240. That's like over 3 games, really. But still,
yeah,
I mean, to your point, I mean it's fine. I mean, whatever. It just the new iPhones suffer from the same problem as Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to me, which is that the promise of these things is something that never arrived and will come in the future. So here we are. It's literally almost a year later. Been paying for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I got in before the price hike on some discount thing, so I have it for some amount of time. Whatever. It's still expensive. Whatever. How many Activision games are in there? I could count them on one hand. 2. I want to use my middle finger so badly right now. Not that many. And what I'd like to have done is pause that thing until those games were available, right? And it's just like buying an iPhone. It's like they literally spent, I bet, 30 to 40% of that keynote thing talking about AI, and then we're like, yeah, it's not going to be there when we ship.
Not even like yeah.
I actually thought they were going to surprise us and say, guess what? We're going to throw a few in, like something.
Like even just the new Siri, like little UI.
Something. Nope. I know, it's crazy. So yeah, we're paying now for the promise of AI later, or in the case of Game Pass, paying now for the promise of Activision games later. And it's like, I'm not like the bank of Paul supporting Microsoft or Apple in this case. I don't understand. I don't understand this. It's kind of a strange problem. It's going to be great, Brad. I'm telling you, man. We don't know when, but it will be. I guess. Okay. Oh, but you want me to pay for it now?
Yeah. Now,
do I get interest on this loan? I mean, how does that work?
I mean, the question
what's going on with your Xbox?
When all these reviews come out, every single one of them should not include AI, which makes the phone a lot less attractive.
They even intimated, if you will, that the watch had some kind of AI thing, even though there are no AI features in the watch. Like Apple Intelligence is iPad, iPhone, Mac, but there was a bit during that thing where they're like, I don't know what they referred to it as something slightly different, but it was like some kind of AI-like functionality, and it's just like, guys, you got to get over this. Like, just.
The hilarious part too is the new Apple Watch Series 10 has a larger display than their Ultra, so that's cool.
I know, bizarre, right?
Yeah, like that.
There's weirdness all over that announcement. Yeah, that they also, they don't talk about it like this. They announce ANC and AirPods 4, and you're like, oh, that was one of maybe the key selling point of the Pro. They don't upgrade the Pro, and you're like, okay, but they're going to add features to it. And then you find out later, actually, the ANC in the Pro is still twice as good as that in the 4.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to really do some legwork on this stuff. Like, it's weird, you know? It's a lot of weird holes. I don't know. New Air,
Right.
the freaking the Max things, the big headphones. This doesn't. I'm losing my mind when it comes to time now. Apparently, I just read this, so I'm assuming this is true because I read it on a blog, and those guys are never wrong. Those things, I know. Those things are they really 4 years old? Is that how old they are? The AirPod Max, is that true? I guess we could look at it. It's not worth looking up, but the point is, it launched with Lightning. It doesn't support, I guess, probably lossless or something, even wired or whatever it is. Even though Beats does.
So the original AirPods Max, that's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
December 15th, 2020, according to Bing. So
They're
that could be wrong too.
that old. Like, does that not seem wrong to you? Like, I feels to me like they're less than 2 years old. But anyway, these big, expensive, stupid things don't even have a real case. They didn't address this. They have new colors and they got rid of Lightning. Okay, good. But it's exactly the same hardware. And when they shipped, which again felt like 2 years ago, one of the big complaints was it didn't support all of Apple's.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it happened later because of the timing. But, Apple Music supports lossless and Dolby Atmos, whatever. And it doesn't support one of those. It must be lossless. And it's probably because they're wireless only, right? I think. I don't care because I'm never going to buy them because they're so expensive and stupid, but they're also just tied to Apple. But Apple owns this company called Beats that makes headphones that are equivalent quality but support lossless, come with 2 wires. Did we run out of tape?